Welcome into 12 News at 10. I'm Rachel Hackbart.
And I'm Michael Schwenke. Questions still linger after two Augusta teens arrested in connection to the murder of 93-year-old Joanne Johnson.
The investigation started almost a year ago when Johnson was found dead in her home over last Labor Day weekend. 12 News reporter Cale Chapman joins us now to break down what we've learned so far. Cale.
Rachel, Johnson's family and neighbors are one step closer to justice after the first arrests in this case. That breakthrough coming Thursday as the KBI announced two 14-year-old girls from Augusta have been arrested for first-degree murder in connection with Joanne's death.
Sunday I'd called my mom, a couple times. She didn't answer, which wasn't unusual. So we rode our bikes over here, and when we got here, what was just a little bit unusual was that the front door was cracked open.
On September 3rd, 2023, Joanne Johnson was found by her family dead in her Augusta home.
When we walked inside, she was literally unrecognizable. If we hadn't seen her tennis shoes, I wouldn't have recognized who she was. The murder was beyond belief brutal.
Joanne's son, Tim Johnson, called for help, and Augusta police began investigating the case as a murder. For months, the investigation dragged on without any arrests. In May, Governor Laura Kelly and Johnson's family even offering a $10,000 reward for any information that led to an arrest and conviction in Johnson's murder.
It's horrific because you don't know. At different point in times you don't know. Frankly, you don't know if you're a suspect, right? I mean, so that the communication is relatively limited.
Now, just under a year later, two 14-year-old girls from Augusta have been arrested for first-degree murder in connection with the case. The KBI believes both girls were just 13 years old at the time of the crime. Tim Johnson says the family doesn't know the girls arrested in the case. Tim says no matter who the suspects are, justice needs to be served.
Whether these were two 14-year-olds or a 25-year-old on meth or a 60-year-old for all that matter, I don't think any of those things matters. I think justice needs to be blind on this.
Formal charges for both of the teenagers are still pending. The KBI says they will not release the names of either girl because they're minors. No public tip led to either of the arrests.
Cale, thank you. The murder of Joanne Johnson and the arrest of the two 14-year-old girls connected to this case now sending shockwaves through the Augusta community. Joanne was well known in the community, with many calling her JoJo. 12 News was in Augusta all day talking with those who knew her. Business owners and those living in Augusta say the crime is tragic, but it does not represent Augusta.
People of our community hurt, we hurt. And when they mourn, we mourn. And right now the town's mourning for all that are involved.
In this town, within a few hours, everybody knows about something about a crime, specifically a murder. So it was gut-wrenching and disturbing.
Again, there are many unanswered questions at this time as we are still unsure of who these teenagers are. The big question unanswered so far, why would two 14-year-old girls murder a 93-year-old woman?
Yeah, another question we're asking, will these suspects, the 14-year-olds who were 13 at the time of the murder of 93-year-old Joanne Johnson, be tried as adults? We talked to Wichita attorney Dan Monnett, who says prosecutors will have a lot to consider before they ask. First, Monnett says it's important to remember juveniles are not adults, and only in extreme cases will a prosecutor typically ask a judge to treat a child as an adult. The prosecutor has to file a motion. The judge must find evidence that the community would be better served by the child being treated as an adult for the purpose of a criminal conviction.
Not every case is the same. Not every murder case is the same. I don't think there's any way we could generalize to say that, yes, fair-minded, wise prosecutors always seek an adult prosecution where a juvenile is arrested or accused of murder.
Monnett says if the suspects were to be tried or prosecuted as an adult, they could face life in prison. However, if they're tried as juveniles, they would face a minimum of 60 months in a Kansas juvenile correctional facility with a maximum imprisonment until they're 22 and a half years old.
So again, still a lot of questions out there. Here's what we know so far. Two teens are arrested in the murder of Joanne Johnson. They were both 13 at the time the crime occurred. Officials have not identified a relationship between the suspects and Johnson. The KBI does tell us this afternoon that it does not believe any public tip or information helped solve the case. Also, Butler County will be prosecuting this case. We're going to continue to ask questions and we'll bring you the latest information as soon as we get more answers.